we're, today I'm just gonna try and figure out what happens in between levels, or what should happen in run one, because all all of you watching, I assume, have played it, and you remember that it kind of goes on forever. Into the distance. Until you hit the space bar, and as soon as you do, you teleport to the next level. And and then that there's whatever's going on in the next level. And I'm not really on board with that. I did that because at the time it seemed easiest. Man, that is not a very good perspective. But it's fine because this is just a sketch. So, yeah, my current thought is that it does not go on forever. Like you reach the end of the level, and there is a section that is like solid, but it ends. And then stars. Yeah. And when you arrive here, you, I don't know, you lift off, or well, maybe you don't lift off. Maybe there's a like as long as we're brainstorming ideas, there could be a bubble that picks you up and carries you, or a platform that picks you up and carries you. Or there could be like a zip line. I want to go and show this from the side. The important thing is that there is a gap, and it's bigger than this, but something gets you across, and quickly. And I guess there are options to consider later, because yes, as Nintendo brought up, there's a question of, do I want to bring back elements of stuff? there was that. That is not a useful color right now. There was that 3, 2, 1 start sign. We need more sign. Red. I'm doing this backwards, but whatever. And I was thinking this could be a 3D object, which is why I'm trying to draw it on like a slant. And so it doesn't really make sense for that to be what's carrying you. There could be any number of other things, really. Oh yeah, another idea I had was that is a big. Let's do smaller lines. Man, this is getting cluttered. A zip line or something that connects the two, and you go and you grab onto it. And you ride that across, and the start sign just happens in the background. Yeah, there's way too much stuff here. I don't know. The zip line does not strike me as necessary. Or easy. I do want to implement zip lines at some point, but maybe leave those for later. Like another thing I could see is an energy field. You and it pulls you in. And like the arrows are not directly visible, but there are particles moving like this, and then once you're inside, it's all really fast. Yeah, I mean, in terms of ideas fitting with the other games, the zipline is something that I do plan to add, which is one, like, it's the only reason I brought it up, really. Rainbow-colored infinite bridge that launches you. Yeah, I mean, I can look into, like, I can consider rainbow colors. I was not really. But yeah, putting something in this ending section, so like, this section is just solid, whereas this section is an actual level with level stuff. But yeah, in here there could be conveyors. Well, yeah. It is like my plans right now are just a big void jump where you don't have a lot of control. One way or another, it's going to be mostly void, I think. Well, actually, I guess it could be a level or a unbroken tunnel with just conveyors the whole way. Like that could work. But either way, there is limited control so that you can't go out here and retain your speed and skip the entire level, or like you can't go through here and skip the entire level. Either way. Yeah. Mostly I'm talking about conveyors and force fields and all these other things. Zip lines is just sort of a way to explain the idea that you're moving fast, but you have a limited amount of control. It's only supposed to happen in this area, and you're not going to expect to take the extra speed out there. Anyway, I do want to get back to, there's the 3, 2, 1 start thing. Another thought I had for that is let's bring this back and fill it in. So yeah, that graphic from before, but instead of showing up highlighting wow, I am not using my space. Good enough. It could actually be like red, yellow, green. Okay, let me fix this. Space it out. I want to be able to show that there's space here. So yeah, you go flying by, and it's like you're flying along, and there's a red light that lights up as you pass by, and a yellow one, and a green one. And who knows, maybe they're not lined up. It's be all around, really. And it can drag you like up and down and around before dropping you off here and slowing you down. Like, I think that's a cool way to do a callback to how it used to be, but also, you know, be fancy about it and, well, let's see. Missed a couple comments, so Run 2 Remake. Yeah, hopefully by the time I get to Run 2, there will be support for like turning and heading up or down or sideways and like running in that direction. Because yeah. Let's see. Run 1 does only allow you to spawn in one place. And so I think part of this process will be when you land and are deposited, it rotates gravity so that you arrive at the correct spawn point. Let's see. Rings, maybe? Yep. The Angel was in Run 1. Didn't do anything different, but yeah. There is the option to have a ring and have that be involved somehow. Yeah. So an Easter egg in Celeste is that there is a room you can find in the hotel where there's a computer connected up. And if you play it, it loads up the original Pico 8 version of Celeste. So, don't know if it's actually 8-bit, but it's... It's not a bad idea. Let's see. But before talking about it as an arcade game, I'd like to talk about, or at least consider, ideas for being a little less arcadey. What did you miss? Ideas, brainstorming. I mean, I can refer back to that stream for those who watched it. I don't know what would be lighting up in the middle of space, but I don't know. I guess it could be like you have a... Don't put that there. Off to the side, and this is going to be a separate thing. So zoom in, and you have a meteor or asteroid, whatever. Yeah. And then on that you have like these little red lights. that turn on as you go past. And then when there are enough of them on, I don't know, maybe they're wired up with red wire? I don't know. I'm just envisioning that there is something electric going on, and when it all lights up, the whole thing kind of glows red. It's a glow I will actually draw outside the bounds. And that's kind of how you get the red. And there will be another one for the yellow. Yeah. I don't know. Does it have to be a meteor? Cancel. Other options. You have a I don't know, presumably I don't know if this would be filled in or if it would be just happen to be tetrahedron shaped, wireframe. But something technological floating around in space that gives off light as you pass by. However that would work. Or however that would look, I don't know. So, yeah, to do a proper recap, plan is, I'm pretty sure the plan is to have a big gap in between the end of one level and the start of the next. And you fly or ride or zip line or jump or something all the way from one to the other. And part of this is to just put some space between levels. Part of it is because, for technical reasons, putting space between levels kind of allows you to see the next level being built, because I spent all that effort doing a cool animation for a level being built. I want to use it, but I don't want to replay the animation every time you fall, because that is annoying. So if there was a good excuse to play the animation once as you arrive, that's great. Yeah, I think those are the main reasons for having just a big gap. And the next step, which is the point of the stream, is to figure out what to put in there. And so one idea I had was that beep, 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 start animation, or a reference to that animation. I'd revamp it along with everything else. But it doesn't have to be like that every level. I'm thinking there could be other stuff between like different levels. Whichever level you play, you get. That's going to be one color. Oh no, it's not. It's going to be fine. Imagine there was someone sitting off to the side randomly and waved at you. Wouldn't be too hard to do. Oops. Could also just do a meteor without anyone on it. Space is kind of empty, so they're but it doesn't have to be. There's just can't put like a planet in between levels because that's, well, among other reasons, that's too interesting. See a planet, you want to go there. You see an empty meteor, it's fine if you don't go there. Like another thing I'm thinking of is there could be similar signs to the start sign, maybe oriented differently, and I could say different things. Yeah. Except with a thicker brush stroke, because this is actually a really thin brush stroke. So yeah, stuff. Welcome, perhaps welcome to I am not even drawing this with perspective at all. Couldn't tell you what level it is. I don't know. There's potentially a lot when words start being involved, like signage. Went off. Yeah. I don't know. I think it could be fun to have just a lot of simple things, and ideally something that would be easy to program. Like, as long as I can figure out as long as I can get a good font for it, it's really easy to swap out text. So, text is promising. Just come up with ideas, type them in, and that can be an option that shows up between levels. And like a single common object to show up, like an asteroid, is not that bad either. I just make a model and show it differently, different place, different rotation, different scaling. Maybe two different models, and occasionally have random stuff on it. Mm-hmm. Could work. It would take a little more setup, but it's not bad. Other characters might take more work, but Hopefully, unless lag is an issue, it won't be a problem. Guess the remaining question is how much focus should there be on, uh, the level transition itself, like the beep, 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 start. Should there always be something there that does a countdown, or does something else? Maybe skip the countdown sometimes, but always have always have something that tells you the level number. I'm not sure how much structure there needs to be versus how much randomness. Nintendo apparently knows something. I'm listening. Have the costumes tied to, or have the costumes show up when you unlock them. Yeah, that's easy enough, assuming characters showing up at all works. Good enough. Yeah, so perhaps... So I mentioned earlier that as you approached... I need a bigger brush. As you approached, it would rotate gravity so that the correct direction was down. And plop you down. Because you're always supposed to start on the same side. And it's not always safe not to. Though, I mean, in the original, you had the option to switch sides during the long beep beep start animation. But it always put you on the one side by default, so it makes sense to do that again, because some levels you need that. So a possibility is there's something as part of each level structure that I don't know, the top bit is blocked off, and it says level 5, and it always places you to miss this part. Yeah, it is true. costumes are going to take some effort. But hopefully it'll be worth it in the end. Yeah. Thing is, I don't really like just a slab, weird rectangular slab blocking that off. Maybe if it was more of an archway. I don't know why it would be an archway. Also, I don't... Maybe it would be the same color as the tunnel. Maybe it wouldn't. Or maybe it would be like close but distinct so you could tell. But then again, if you block off that much, it's harder to see what's coming up. So maybe it like hovers off in front. Wow, look at that kerning. It's terrible kerning. Anyway. I guess having it hover blocks your vision less as you get closer. There's no reason not to have things hovering. Everything else was. Better idea, maybe. It's written on the walls. I am... longer than that. We're not going to spell it out if it's like that. And then like, kind of backwards on this wall. And that does a couple things. It does not block your vision. You do still get to see the level number. It's pretty standardized, and it doesn't like if there happens to be a whoops, wrong layer. If there happens to be a start sign out here. Because this transition is doing the beep beep start animation. It still blocks the L5 here, but at least it's not start sign there and then immediately behind it is a second floating sign. At least you don't have that going on. One sign, then immediately another sign that's totally blocked. You can see the L5 once you're past the start sign. And Oh, right, it also tells you which way is up, because the letters are directed in one specific direction. I don't know that they have to be bright orange, but that's a little bit off. And you know, there might be a similar thing at the end of the previous one. A marking telling you which level you're leaving and which level you're coming to. Because consistency? Consistency. May as well. Beep. Beep. Still have that going on. You can still have that going on. Yeah. Not at the same time, because that's a lot. But yeah, my thought, unless someone comes up with something I'm missing, is that I'd like to have a couple simple things, meteor and stuff with text that can be swapped out kind of at random. I would not mind having the the three lights, whatever they are, whatever they're made of. I would not mind having that as like a specific non-randomized thing, or less randomized thing. Shows up between some levels, like extra effort into a thing that can't be swapped easily, or can't be. There aren't variants of it, but might be worth the effort. Right. The reason it might be worth the effort is because it's the reference to the original version. I would put extra effort into specifically that one reference, whereas everything else is going to be designed to have as much variation and reuse potential as possible. Whereas this will not have so much variation, but will still be there because references. And no matter what is in between the levels, there will be numbers in the, like, not only will there be numbers, there will be solid square tunnels with numbers in them at the end and then at the start, just always. Every time. And then in between those will be variation. These are backwards because we're looking at the outside. Could do like gotta have those not overlap. Yeah. I think those are good enough ideas. Happy enough with that. At some point, I'll be ready to implement them. Don't know what I'll be doing next stream. But in an upcoming stream, I'll start on some of these. And yeah, probably either nothing, no explanation of why you're flying between sections, or something simple that won't get in the way of the scenery. So yeah, that will be all for today, and I will see you next time.